Welcome to another production from the Sweetwater County Historical Museum. Today we're going to talk about the Chinese in Rock Springs for elementary school students. In the late 1800s and early 1900s, there were many people living in Rock Springs who came from China. China is a very faraway place in Asia. Many of them came to help build the railroads and mine coal. They were usually men without families, because many people thought it was too dangerous for them to bring their families here. Most of them came thinking that they would one day go back to China and didn't intend to stay very long, other than to earn money. This meant they often kept their own culture and often lived together in their own communities, not blending as much with others. It wasn't just because they had their own culture, though. Many Asian groups were not well liked in America. Rock Springs had a Japanese and Korean town, as well as a Chinatown. Chinatown is depicted in this picture, and the next one too. You just saw a map of Chinatown in Rock Springs on the last picture. This is a picture of Chinatown in Rock Springs. Does this look like any part of Rock Springs as you would see it today? This picture is of a Chinese place of worship, kind of like a church or a synagogue. They were called Jos Houses in English. Jos is a funny way of spelling the Portuguese word for God. Each one had an altar like the one you see in this picture. Let's take a closer look at the items that go on an altar.
The items you see here are all items from an altar in a place called a Jos house. This big red banner would hang off of one side, and these items here, including this cool looking dog creature, go on top of the table-like structure.
The Chinese celebrated special holidays not usually celebrated by the people whose families came from Europe. One of the most special was the Chinese New Year. A large 140-foot dragon danced through downtown Rock Springs. 30 men held up the dragon. Can you imagine having to dance with your head covered? The man in front with the stick with the ball on top tells the head and the tail what to do. Everyone else just follows them. What do you think this dragon would look like in real life? Would it be brown and black? White? Really colorful? Let's take a look at the eyes of that dragon on display at the museum.
These are the eyes of that dragon. Do you see how colorful they are?
This is what a modern Chinese dragon looks like. Look at how colorful it is. The Rock Springs dragon would probably also have been very colorful. We just can't tell because the photo is in black and white. The Chinese also brought with them other traditions like music. Let's take a closer look at some Chinese instruments.
What do you think this large thing is here? What do you think it does? Does it make a sound? Is it a giant frisbee? What do you think it's made of? It's called a gong. It is a big metal disc, and when you hit it, it makes a big booming sound. What do you think this thing is down here? It looks kind of like a weird hammer. What do you think it does? It's a special instrument. It's from China, and it sounds kind of like a different sounding violin. It has a bow, just like a violin, and a single set of strings that if you go across it, those strings will make a sound.
What do you think those instruments sound like? Let's listen to some Chinese music from that time. We won't listen very long, but what kind of sounds do you hear? Did it sound like music you like? What's different? The same? Is there something you like about it? Is there something you don't like about it? The Chinese were one of the cultures that helped teach us a lot of math and ways to count. One example of this is a special tool, an old calculator called an abacus. Let's take a closer look at one.
This is a swan pond style abacus. That means it's a Chinese style abacus. When you look at it, you see it's got a bunch of different beads on the bottom and a bunch of beads up top. The beads up top count things like fives, and the beads on the bottoms count things like 1, 2, 3, and 4. The beads on the bottom are usually called earth beads, while the ones on the top are called heaven or sky beads. Now, the way you count on an abacus is by going 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've counted up to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And to get to 10, I reset it and then have it as 1 and 0. Do you see that? 1, 0. Now, if I wanted to say 123, I would say 100, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Now, if we wanted to be 132, what do you think I would do? 1, 3, 2. Now it says 0 again. See that? Nothing touching the bar here, nothing touching the bar here. Do you think you could do math on this thing? You think you could do addition, subtraction, or multiplication?
The Chinese came to Rock Springs because they were hired by the Union Pacific to mine coal and build the railroads. They were willing to work for very little money, which the Union Pacific liked. Other miners, the Union Pacific wanted to pay them less too. Many of the other miners felt they were being paid poorly because the Chinese miners would work cheaper, and blamed the Chinese for willing to work for so cheap. This wasn't just in Rock Springs, though. Places like California, South Dakota, and many other places also thought that way. Even the Chinese emperor didn't like so many Chinese workers leaving China. So the U.S. government passed the Chinese Exclusion Act. That was a law that meant that only certain people from China were allowed to enter the United States legally. That law didn't go away until the mid-1900s, during World War II. One day, in early September 1885, the disagreements became a fight between two Chinese and two white miners, and expanded until the Chinese miners were chased out of the mine. White miners attacked, shot at, and chased the Chinese out of Chinatown. They killed many people and injured many more. They burned down lots of buildings, took what they could find, and destroyed lots of other people's stuff. You can see what the burnt-out Chinatown looks like in this picture. What do you see when you look at this picture? The U.S. government sent soldiers to help the Chinese go back. But when the Chinese came back, there wasn't much left to come back to. With the help of the soldiers, they slowly rebuilt. But by 1900, most of the Chinese had gone back to China. By 1920, they were basically all gone. Today, we call that fight the Rock Springs Massacre. A massacre is where one group kills lots of people in another. It is often a fight where only one side is doing most of the fighting, while the others simply try to defend themselves. The Chinese people living in Rock Springs today are not usually going to be related to those that were here then. Their families usually came later. This picture is from a dinner held for some of the last Chinese miners in Rock Springs. As the Chinese miners went back to China, they were eventually replaced with miners from many different countries, bringing many other cultures to Rock Springs. This picture is of International Night, a special celebration of different cultures. While the colorful celebrations of Chinese New Year are gone, the new cultures brought many other celebrations with them. Does your family celebrate any special holidays or traditions? You can learn more about the Chinese and their impact on Rock Springs at the Sweetwater County Historical Museum in Green River. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to keep paying attention to your classes so you can keep on learning. And don't forget we have lots of other educational videos too.